Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel here for the Pokéverse Cube League. If you haven't seen my draft for this yet, check it out. My draft this time around, I've kind of got just like a really toxic stage 1 rushdown deck. We're just trying to attach some energy to Scizor and disrupt my opponent and poison them and hex them and Marshadow them, all different kinds of annoying things, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. My opponent Vent here is playing actually kind of a similar deck. Just swap out Scizor for Banette EX, and yeah, has Skuntank, has Marshadow, so a lot of similar things. We'll just hop right into the action. My hand here in game 1 is pretty good going first. I've got double Scyther and Porygon 2, so sounds pretty good. My opponent going to go ahead and do a Gentleman's Mulligan. Just a special cube rule that, like, if your hand isn't great, you get a free mulligan, even if you have a basic. Because cube decks are in general a little bit more jank. I luckily remember that my opponent does have a Marshadow, so I do remember to bench all of my guys. And they'll start it off with an attach pass on their Skuntank G. And I'll basically do the same. I'll attach to the bench Scyther, and the one extra thing I will do for turn is I'll go for the Hex Maniac, just to shut down any abilities. Mostly looking out for the Marshadow because I got a great hand. Basically, I've kind of got, as long as I draw an energy, I've got a guaranteed attack next turn with Scyther. And my opponent, yeah, doesn't really have much to do. They'll just go ahead and Smokescreen me for 20. Smokescreen will not really impact me because I'm going to retreat out of that guy. So we just go ahead, we bench, or we evolve into Porygon 2, and we're going to, I'm assuming, evolve into Scizor EX here. Yep, and Scizor EX in this cube is a 1 prizer, so pretty beefy guy. And we'll just go ahead and back up for 4. We do draw energy, and a Quick Ball's nice too. That can help us get a Yanma started here. Yanmega in this deck is kind of just a backup attacker that just like helps chain things together. I don't really have any energy acceleration except for one singular Metal Saucer, so I'm really just trying to string together all my attachments to my Scizors. And the Yanmega can just kind of help chain some things together when I don't have the energies ready to go. So we'll get a Yanma going, and we'll retreat out, and we're going to go ahead and Steel Wing for 40 damage, threatening a KO next turn. My opponent and I just have a little discrepancy here. The Skuntank effect is on the Scyther, not on my Scizor. So we just clear that up here, and then we'll go ahead and move on to the next turn. And Vent will go ahead and draw here, getting a Lucky Egg down on Skuntank, which is going to be good because the Skuntank was in danger of getting knocked out next turn. That'll allow him to refill the hand, and we'll just go ahead and use Let Loose. I knew I was going to be afraid of Let Loose, which is why I used the Hex Maniac, and does get a Shuppet down and energy attached, and a Copycat for turn. So my opponent getting 2 Shuffle Draw 4s in, basically judging himself twice and seeing what we pull off of that. The Banette EX is not too threatening yet because there's 1 supporter in the discard pile, so that will not be a big threat. I am Smokescreen though, so that will mean I'm going to try and look for alternate routes to attacking here this turn. And I'm basically just going to thin my hand all the way down as far as I can and back up. And off the backup, I do draw a Celio's Network, which is going to let me go get a Yanmega. And Yanmega, it doesn't matter which Yen Mega I grab. I have to pare my hand size down to 4. So we'll probably just attach the air balloon, and that will be it. I only have 1 Yen Mega in deck. Currently, I have the Sonic Vision one, which will actually do 120 damage to this poor Skuntank, but it would get the KO regardless of the tool. And so I'll just go ahead and retreat to avoid smokescreen and take the knockout. The Lucky Egg will trigger, and Vent will draw 3 cards. Benching a Shuppet. And then Pokemon Communication, which is going to calm this not as useful Banette in this situation in for Banette EX, I'm assuming. But there is a big problem. Vent has prized both Banette EXs, and he just kind of scoops it up and goes for game 2. A little lucky on my end, but my board was in a pretty good place. So even if he throws down a Shadow Chant on that turn, it's not the biggest deal in the world, because it wasn't going to be doing that much damage. Starting this game, I've got an interesting hand. I've got a Yen Mega that I can't find any evolutions for, and a Porygon as well. I almost make a awful blunder, but I remember to put out my prizes here. And I think I just pass it over in this situation. I don't want to Shaman for just like 3. I also don't want to throw down stadiums too quickly. And Vent here goes for a support navigation on Lapras. Lapras is the OG Lumineon V or Tapu Lele GX or Jirachi EX, and it was 1 prizer, and it wasn't played ubiquitously back in the day. Supporters weren't as powerful, but still a very insane cube card for sure. Vent's going to search their deck for a supporter to get their game started off right, and it's Colress's Experiment, a great draw supporter. Going to look at the top 5, pick 3 of them, and Lost Zone 2. A Rainbow Energy and a Seeker going to the Lost Zone. Benching a Yanma. Yeah, the Vent's deck is actually really kind of spit an image of mine in a way. And just attach energy to Yanma, pass. So no Shuppet down is really good for me. And at this point, I decide, okay, now is a good time. Now I can throw my whole hand down and go for the Shaman EX. I almost poison structure my own guy and not poison structure Skuntank G because the SPs cannot get poisoned. And then I'll draw 5 with Shaman setup. Not necessarily a thrilling 5 cards I drew. I drew a Zinnias and an Atticus, which I cannot play, but for some reason I don't ditch the Atticus. I ditch 2 energy to draw 3 cards. And the 3 cards I draw are not fantastic. I've got 2 Yan Megas, no Yanmas to be seen, so I will just go for the Steel Wing for 40 damage and reducing damage done to me by 20, which actually is pretty big. Because right now, additionally, I resist grass by 30. So even if Vent goes in with a Yen Mega, it's not gonna like it. He can use what is it? Whatever the 70 damage one is. For it'll only do 50 damage. Vent will use a scoop up net to scoop up that Lapras and put it back down. And we'll find a Goose Hala, and Goose Hala will discard Atticus and another thing to go get some stadiums, a special energy, and a tool. Discarding 2 supporters off the Goose Hala. And then we'll get a Battle Frontier, shutting down any potential Porygon 2 backup draws. A Lucky Egg to take advantage of the fact that I'm going to KO this Skuntank pretty soon, and a Rainbow Energy to make sure that the Yanmega can attack even if we're not matching hand sizes. Which, crucially for Vent, he does not really have a draw engine, so it actually makes a lot of sense that we want the Yanma to be able to attack. And I will get Poison Structured, poisoning my Scizor, and pass. I do find a Yanma off the top, which is amazing. I'm going to attach the Yanma and just say Steel Wing for the knockout. And I draw Porygon 2, a little bit of Salt in the Wound for sure, because I can't use it right now. But we'll try and make it work. Vent promoting the Lapras here, which definitely puts him in a little bit of a danger zone, because if I can get my Yanmega Prime up and running, I can attack from the bench. Or attack to the bench. And with Scoop Up Net down, with Briny down, there's not going to be many ways that they can get that Lapras out of the active, and I can just keep on sniping. And so that's what I'm going to do. I do get a Castaway off the top, and Castaway will just about seal it. Because I'll be able to get a basic energy, which will allow me to attack. And a supporter and a tool card. I'll get Giant's Cape as my tool, and I'm going to get Delinquent as the supporter, which next turn Delinquent will get rid of the Battle Frontier, so that then I can use backup and just basically fill my hand while discarding all of his. So really put some pressure on. I match hand sizes, even though I don't have to right here, because I am fully powered up and ready to go. So I realize, I don't have to match hand sizes. I'm going to evolve into the Porygon 2. And yeah, I just start attacking the bench. And this is really going to put Vent in an awkward spot. They have to find a way to pivot out of that Lapras, or I'm just going to keep attacking his attackers that are kind of trapped right now. He does have a Shady Move Banette EX in hand, so he's going to evolve up, so the Shuppet will not get taken down next turn. And Time Walk is Elf. Zelf from Legends Awakening, one of the best cards of all time. Lets you look at your prizes and take a Pokemon from the prizes and swap it with a card in your hand. The really great thing is it also does not shuffle your prizes, so it's not like Hisuian Heavy Ball where it gets shuffled in. It just, the card that you put from your hand, it just gets put into the prizes, so you know your prizes in what order they are in. And usually in Cube, people just do a gentleman's agreement of, like if you've played Azelf, you can look at your prizes. You don't have to like do the mental game of remembering it. Gets a Shuppet down, and I immediately go for the Delinquent, and and they realize, oh yeah, I kind of forgot about the Delinquent. That's going to just run them out of cards in hand, and I'm just going to keep sniping the bench. It's not a good situation for them, and they're going to scoop it up there. So not too big of a test of my deck in the first round. There are a lot of things that I can do that are just vicious, as you just saw here in this last turn, and that's kind of exciting. That's something that this cube is definitely known for. So glad I'm leaning into the toxicity here for sure. But good games to vent, and we'll see you back here for round 2.